Genetically engineered tree plantations threaten to destroy native forests and to displace local farms and sustainable economies. Previously self-sufficient communities will be forced to leave their lands in search of livelihoods elsewhere, while their land becomes the site of plantations, processing plants, and factory-style packaging facilities. Although the land and livelihood of indigenous and rural peoples around the world would be threatened immediately, the long-term effects of genetically engineered trees would eventually be felt by everyone. Beyond providing habitat and food for wildlife, native forests are considered the lungs of the earth. They absorb carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas, and produce oxygen. They also filter water and release it into the atmosphere. Disrupting forest ecosystems endangers the health of the planet.
Communities of people that depend on intact native forests for their survival, whether forest-based communities here in North America, or especially in the case of indigenous communities in the global south, the potential pollution and contamination and genetic disruption of native forest ecosystems can be absolutely disastrous for people whose livelihood depends on intact native forests.
There is no serious consideration about what's going to happen to the people who live there, what's going to happen to livelihoods, what's going to happen to the way of managing these ecosystems that has been so important for the world over the last 10,000 years.
Most of our current ideas, especially in a revolutionary area like biotechnology, are going to turn out to be wrong. That's not a denigration or an insult to science. That's the way a science progresses. You make a set of observations, you set up a hypothesis to make sense of them, you carry out an experiment, you get the results, then you say, how well did we do? Chances are you say, oh man, was I wrong? You toss that hypothesis out and set up another one. That's how science progresses. So I want to repeat, in any revolutionary area, and biotechnology is a revolutionary area, most of our current ideas are wrong. Then I ask you, what the hell is the rush to apply these ideas that we're getting? We're still at the bare beginning of understanding of what we're doing. The rush to apply these ideas is absolutely dangerous because we don't have a clue what the long-term impact of our manipulations is going to be. What is needed is the application of the precautionary principle to genetically engineered organisms. The precautionary principle demands convincing evidence of both a need for the product and its safety before acceptance of a new technology.
It's a lose-lose scenario. There's no way of dealing with this unless you stop this technology before it gets out of the laboratory.
I think now is the time to stop this technology before it's too late. And I think it can be stopped.
This is about the corporate enclosure of life itself, and that is why I think it's so important for people to stand up and resist GE trees. If we want a future on this planet for people, for communities that have nurtured and cherished biodiversity around the world, especially indigenous communities that are being displaced very often by these transnational timber companies, we need to actually be standing up and doing something about this before it is too late.
Consumers can vote on a daily basis for GE-free foods, fruits, nuts, paper products, and lumber with thoughtful shopping. Consumers can ask where their food products are coming from. Paper and wood products, for example, can be purchased from a known source. We can seek out locally grown organic produce. Ask for organic products at your local grocery store and purchase wood or paper products made from non-genetically engineered trees. You can exercise your consumer power every day. Buy organic and urge your friends and family to do the same.
One of the things that's important is that Kinko's, which is a major consumer of paper in the United States, has released their wood endangered forest policy that gives preference to suppliers of paper that don't use genetically engineered trees. This is one of the first of its kind policies, and Kinko's is really setting a higher bar within the industry. These are the kind of policies that we're going to be pushing for from other companies like Home Depot, like all the other logging companies. And this issue will become more and more of an issue. And essentially what we can do is squeeze companies like International Paper and others out of the marketplace so they no longer have large customers like Kinko's and others that they can supply to. This is an economic way of using our power as consumers in our society to make change.
I could not have done this, stood up to them, without financial help and the help, whether by word of mouth or encouragement, if I would have had help from people from all over the world, from every continent. I had that help, and we learned to live off the strength of other people. No one could stand up otherwise to a multi-billion-dollar corporation in court.
Well, first of all, learn the facts. There are many groups that are starting to work in this area. They always need help and volunteers. Work is being done internationally to educate the public about the threats of genetically engineered trees. They are also working to ban the commercial development of genetically engineered trees. All change is local, and you can begin by starting action groups and helping to educate your community. Make sure your community is aware of the dangers of genetic engineering and is armed with the ability to make sound judgments based on unbiased information. Speak with your community and, where possible, with your local or national government to build resistance and stop genetically engineered plants, seeds, and products from entering your community. The rush to apply these ideas is absolutely dangerous because we don't have a clue what the long-term impact of our manipulations is going to be. The environmental health of the planet and the health of our families and communities are in our hands and in the trees.